What's going on, everyone? Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Will Ortner. And on today's show, we're going to talk about a breakout candidate for the Los Angeles Chargers. Omarion Hampton was someone that was tabbed as being a potential breakout candidate going into his second year by Bleacher Report. And we are going to break down that entire article on today's show because Bleacher Report loves everything about Omarion Hampton. And they broke down 5 different reasons why they think that Hampton could end up being a star, not just for the Chargers, but in the entire National Football League next season. I want to make sure that I get that good news out to you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We only got a couple more hours left to go. We want to make sure that we beat all of the other AFC West channels when it comes to subscribers here at Chat Sports. Let them all know that the Chargers channel might be the smallest based on subscriber count, but we are not the smallest when it comes to the true blue fan appreciation for the Bolts. That's right. Producer Searle's telling me we got heart. We got more heart than they do. That's why you're going to hit subscribe. All right. So a big reason that Bleacher Report wanted to mention why the Los Angeles Chargers not only were going to improve offensively, this was going to allow Omarion Hampton to really grow into his own, was by the pure offensive improvement from the entire team. Hey, look, a rising tide lifts all ships, right? So if the O-line gets better, the wide receiver room gets better, the tight end room gets better, well then things are going to go the right way for Omarion Hampton. Brent Sobleski had this to say. He was the Bleacher Report writer. And unfortunately, I will butcher his name a few more times. Like Ashton Jeanty before him, the Los Angeles Chargers, Omarion Hampton should be thrilled simply by improvements along his team's offense, which should significantly boost in production. I could not agree more here. This is why you don't want to be the smartest person in every room that you are in, because at that point you are not growing, and as a people, it's cliche, but when you're not growing, you die, right? So, what are the Los Angeles Chargers doing? They knew that their offense had to change, so they made changes at the OC, at the O-line, some wide receiver changes even, right? Tight end changes. Every position except for quarterback really got changed. And the idea there was to build a more complete, a better offense. And when you have a better offense from the offensive line, tight ends, wide receivers, and everyone around all the way up to the play caller, you are going to have an opportunity as a running back to have more improvement in your game. So in my personal opinion, I think this is a big reason why Omarion Hampton could improve and why I agree with Bleacher Report. The next thing that they talked about was the improvement from the offensive line. Last year, that Chargers offensive line was absolutely horrific. There was no one worse, in my opinion. The stats might say differently, but man, oh man, if you're a Chargers fan, you know what I'm talking about. That offensive line, simply by osmosis, because Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt are healthy, that's going to be a better crew. Tyler Biadasz, well, he's going to be a gigantic step up from Bradley Bozeman. That's an improvement. And if Jake Slaughter and Cole Strange can turn into being what we know they can be, well, then, of course, that crew is going to get better as well. The offensive line improving is going to make life easier for Hampton because, well, the holes are going to be bigger, right? There's going to be more opportunities for him to find an open space. And that is what is most important. We're going back to Bleacher Report for this. From there, the Chargers signed veteran center Tyler Biadasz in free agency and drafted Florida's Jake Slaughter in this year's second round with the expectation of him moving to one of the guard spots. Trevor Penning and Cole Strange will compete to start as well. The offensive line is light years better than what they were last year. And because the offensive line was so horrific last year, it really impacted how a lot of this running game worked. You can't run the ball very well if there's nowhere for your running backs to go. So simply by the offensive line being better, well, Hampton should be better because it's going to be easier for him to do his job. We got more to get into on today's program, but first I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With playoff basketball here, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. To qualify for a Prize Picks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers, and several others across all sports. If you're more of a seam head, you can choose stats such as hits, home runs, and strikeouts. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature, where you can share prize picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app, at BigWill7774, to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Justin Herbert, more on his pass yards. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. Rashid Shaheed, more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. Next reason why Hampton's going to improve, Mike McDaniel. It's simple. When you have a guy who's a better offensive play caller than your previous OC, well, life's going to be easier. McDaniel does a great job of reshaping how we think about the offense in today's NFL. McDaniel does a great job of reshaping the personnel groupings that he uses, the formations that he uses. His offense is unpredictable, and he's constantly changing his approach to the game. He was someone that liked to use a lot of air raid. He can be someone that also likes to run the football very well. Mike McDaniel is a brilliant mind who's going to put this Chargers team in the best place to have success. Bleacher Report goes into greater detail on that. McDaniel's approach will be interesting as he melds the Shanahan run game principles with Jim Harbaugh's preferred physical approach. The San Francisco 49ers have been very successful in making this shift in recent years. McDaniel has helped devise one of the game's friendliest run games throughout his coaching career. Last season, Devon Achane finished among the top 5 in rushing yardage with McDaniel calling the plays. When we look at the stat line last year, obviously you can't dive too much into that stat line because, well, Hampton missed a significant portion of the season due to some of his injuries. But what we can dive into and what we can look at is what he could potentially be. Devon Achane was one of the best running backs in the National Football League last year. He used his superior speed along with some great vision to make sure that he found open holes with that Miami Dolphins team. And I'll tell you right now, that Dolphins team is nowhere near the skill level or talent level that this team has in Los Angeles. Hampton, I'm not saying that he's going to have 1,300, almost 1,400 yards. What I am saying is that he can definitely have some signs of improvement, just like Devon Achane did with Mike McDaniel. Can Hampton take that gigantic step forward next year? You're going to let us know down below in the comment section, yes or no. Do you support your guy or do you not support your guy? Let us know your opinion. The next big thing of why Hampton will improve, and this is again according to Bleacher Report, is just by staying healthy. Look, you can't sit out there and say, oh, Omarion Hampton, I've looked at him, seen a picture or two of him running around. He's going to play in all 17 games. That's just not how the world works. But if Hampton's able to stay healthy this year, he's going to improve and take a big step forward just by osmosis, man. You can't only play in 9 games and then the next year play in 17 and not get better. And if you do, you're probably going to be out of the football league very quickly. So staying healthy is going to be a big thing. Lastly, we're going to talk about Justin Herbert's MVP status because, again, this is the simple a rising tide lifts all boats. If Justin Herbert goes up and lives up to his potential that everyone knows that he can, well, then that's going to make life a lot easier for Hampton because teams are going to be focused on what Justin Herbert is doing. They're going to be trying to stop him. That means lighter boxes. Well, if boxes are lighter, well, then Hampton's going to be able to run through them and end up getting more yards on the season. This makes a lot of sense to me because if Herbert is the one that everyone's focused in on, well, then Hampton, he can kind of sneak around and make sure that he ends up having a good year. Bleacher Report clearly knows what they're talking about. I loved this article. I thought they did a fantastic job of breaking it down, and I think that hopefully you ended up loving this video of us going into greater detail and giving our own opinions on it as well. Hit that subscribe button to Chargers Now. Help us grow to being as big as we possibly can. We're on the way to 5,000 subscribers, so smash that sub button. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Make sure that you tell someone that you love them. And as always, bolt up.